I hope you are enjoying your Sunday because we are here to make it even better. Welcome to another live session with La Panchina. First and foremost, unfortunately, Alberto from All Juvecast, the co-creator of this very channel, isn't with us today as he is celebrating his 3-year anniversary, I believe, wedding anniversary in the countryside of mighty Canada. What an idiot. But 3 out of 4 is not bad at all. So say hi to Graham and Aubert, who you probably know from earlier La Panchina uploads. So please say hi to those guys in the chat. And to all of you who have joined us for this Juventus chat for the very first time, please let us know that you are there by saying hi or whatever. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you and only you. Guys, welcome. RB Combs is already there. Michael is there. He says hi. I love this. As soon as they start, already. Hi, guys. Nicholas is there. Hi. So, it's La Panchina Talk with me, Graham, and Aubert. So, first of all, guys, we all know about this. As per today, Andrea Pirlo is our new head coach. I said this yesterday during my Juventus quiz final, and I said it was very strange to say it, and it still is very strange to say that Andrea Pirlo is our head coach. So let's kick it off. Maurizio Sarri is out and Andrea Pirlo in. Your thoughts on this?
Go on, Graham. Ladies first.
Thank you. Well, the weird thing is, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago that Pirlo left us. I mean, I know it was something like 5 years ago, but it doesn't feel that long. I mean, compared to other guys like Del Piero and, legends like that. So it still feels like it was playing just yesterday to me. I mean, we've all got, I'm pretty sure the majority of us have got Juventus shirts with his name on the back of them. But just judging on the performances, I felt Sarri had to go. It just looked like it wasn't working, you know what I mean? So I was happy to see Sarri go, but then it just came out of nowhere that Pirlo is suddenly the Juventus manager. And the main concern is, yeah, he's a big name. We all remember him from his playing days, but he's done nothing as a managerial career. Absolutely nothing. He's got zero experience, pretty much. I mean, how long was he the under-20 manager for? A month or something? Or it wasn't that long. And when you look at, people will compare him to, it's inevitable, people will compare him to Zinedine Zidane, Pep Guardiola, these guys, former players, and then they come up through the ranks and then suddenly they're the manager of Barcelona or whoever, like Real Madrid. But Pirlo's had no experience, so we really, really don't know what to expect, and that is a concern for me. But I'm hoping it works out for him because as a Juventus fan, obviously I want my team and my club to do well, but time will tell.
I mean, look, with Sarri, I've always said this from the beginning of the season, last season, I said Sarri has to do two things. One, deliver trophies, and two, change the philosophy of football from Allegri. I think a lot of people forgot the last 2 seasons of Allegri was tough to watch. We're not gonna lie about this, right? So my thought process is when he won Serie A, I thought, okay, he saved himself pretty much because he's delivered a trophy. I was shocked that they sacked him. Not surprised because everyone was watching the football and watching how regressive the football was. As Al will keep moaning, no structure, there was nothing around it, right? So then comes Pirlo on board. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Look, I'm all about positivity. Let's do this. Let's win this. Of course I do. But let's all be realistic here at the same time. And I want to close this with my analogy. You got a house to get built. You get a brand new apprentice electrician to rewire the whole house. You're not going to get him to do the job. That's crazy. It's madness. So the same analogy could be done with football. He was a fantastic player on the pitch, fantastic player, but does not really equate to being a fantastic coach off of it. Now, my thing is, I'm positive. I'm hoping. I'm excited. Some of the new players we'll talk about coming on board, and players that are going. But I'm not going to be the one to say I told you so. But when we're up a team that's tactical prowess is a lot higher than ours, we will get unstuck. But look, positive fino alla fine, and let's hope for the best with Pirlo, and let's see how it goes.
Just coming into this the comment section, already we have one slight discussion there. Yusuf, our team lacks attacking threat in wings, and we don't have enough creativity in the midfield. Dybala is the only one who is. That's true. Question is, though, what is Pirlo gonna do for this season? How he's gonna play? There are some rumors that we will play with the 3-5-2, but also some are saying that he will stick with the 4-3-3. He did that against the under-23s yesterday, I believe. So really, we don't know much. But Dybala is the one who is a creative player going forward, and that speaks loads about him. However, some rumors that are, well, if we get a striker in and if we keep a 4-3-3 formation, Dybala will be switched off to the right side again. Graham is shaking his head the same over. Graham, take it away.
We've seen this experiment before with Dybala out wide. I mean, it worked so successfully for Allegri that, that following summer, the club tried to sell him. And it was actually quite a few people that were all for it. They were saying he had a bad season, he was poor, so sell him. But what do you expect when you play a player at a position? It doesn't work when you try and switch Dybala out wide. It simply does not work. They tried it for a full season for Ronaldo's debut season when he arrived to accommodate Ronaldo's arrival. It didn't work. Simple as that. So why should we go and try that again? It's absolute insanity. We know it doesn't work. So, whatever formation you're going to play, you can't play Dybala out wide. It's as simple as that.
The Dybala, guys, is simple. We see how he plays in the middle of the park, kind of a freeloader player. He plays this with his freedom. If you're going to put him on the right side and just stick him there, it doesn't make any sense. And the fact is, guys, we signed Kulusevski, and he looks good on the right wing. So why? So to Yusuf's point, not to be fair, exactly, Nicholas Roberts. We've got Kulusevski and we've got Arthur, who are going to provide that tight-minded football, right? And don't forget, we've got Douglas Costa, albeit he's made of glass, as a backup right wing. We have Bernardeschi, albeit he's, at the moment, last 3 years been dog shite. But the point is, we have options, right? We do have options. I generally believe that Dybala, if Pirlo seriously plays him on the right wing and we do get Suarez or we get another number 9, it's not going to work. We've seen it. It just doesn't work.
I'm not going to turn this into a Cristiano discussion, but has this something to do with that Cristiano needs to play where he plays?
Oh yeah, I mean, when you've got a star player and a player of the caliber of Ronaldo, you cater to him. I mean, that was the whole reason Dybala went out wide to begin with, because he had to accommodate to Ronaldo's arrival, and Ronaldo thrived off starting out from wide and then coming into the centre. That's why he had such a good partnership with Mandzukic. Can't switch from centre to out wide, and he just can't start out wide for me. Like Over said, he's a creative outlet. He's one of our most creative players, and he's the closest thing, forget about the number on his back. Like, player type wise, he's the closest thing we have to a old school number 10. Number 10s don't start out wide. They're more effective when they go through the middle.
I mean, if you think about, I see Dybala as a fantasista. You don't hear that term anymore. You don't hear that number 10 fantasista doesn't exist. It goes back to the 90s, the Baggio days, Del Piero, the Totti, the Maradonas back in the early 90s. That fantasista position, well, to Graham's point, that kingpin center role just doesn't seem to happen. And if he does push him to the right wing, it kind of then, well, is it because of Ronaldo? The guys, look, I know a lot of people are umming on about Ronaldo. To be fair, he scored a ton of goals for us last season, right? Albeit it being penalties. But he does have a presence on the pitch. He does G up the team. He does try, and when the team's not well, he's trying to get people going up the forward. So his position on the left side, it is what it is, right? For another season, game, set, and match on that, right? So I not to start, I don't know, Roman, obviously we want to talk about this later. I still think Dybala should play the false 9. The false 9 should be his position.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I actually agree with that one, even though it's probably not so popular opinion. But yeah, guys, if you're watching this, please comment in the chat also if you agree or disagree. Yusuf saying that Arthur is not a player who opens up a defense with the long balls. Well, to be quite honest, we don't know. He did one thing for Barca, but well, Barca is another story. Let's see what he does for Pirlo. Of course, it's too early to say whether he does this or don't. But I think as soon as going back to the comparison between Pirlo and Sarri, we've seen players coming out and saying that this is a different atmosphere. They have been coached by a different way. This is more enjoyable. So clearly, this season will be something different to what we've seen last season. Question is, where does Arthur come in? As we all know, Miralem Pjanic and Arthur, they switch clubs. What's your thoughts on Arthur, guys? Ober, let's start with you.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. When he joined Barcelona, there was a huge rage of Barcelona fans. I remember there's the Brazilian star coming out from Brazil, all that, and it was a bit of rage. I didn't watch much of his gameplay. I'm not going to lie about that. The fact is, but it is odd that Barcelona have done this deal for whatever reasons. We know Barcelona's capitulating as a club. You see all the Messi going on down there. Yeah, listen. Look. He's going to come on board. He's going to be playing. There's been some positive news coming out the training camp. He's been quite quite proactive, quite aggressive in his practice, in his practice matches. So, look, I generally think folks are excited by him. I think the jury's out on him. Will he fit the system? How will Pirlo play? First of all. Secondly, the Italian league is different to the Spanish league, and we don't. We're not Barcelona, so we don't have the Messi, we don't have all these other players they had around, Busquets and all these other players around him, the Suarez, well, maybe Suarez actually, but it doesn't, it's a different setup altogether. So I think give the guy the time. I'll be the last person trying to give this guy grief. We're going to give him time. But I think he will be pivotal. I generally think he will be pivotal for our team because we don't have other options, to be honest with you, in the park apart from Rabiot and Bentancur.
Graham?
Well, I'm not going to pretend and say that I've seen a lot of his games and I've seen a lot of the way he plays and everything like that. But judging from whenever I've spoken to Barcelona fans on Twitter, they always say that he's a good player and there's a lot of talent there. But he has maybe it's his attitude, maybe he's got a slight attitude problem, which no offense to anyone that's from that area of the world, but Brazilian players kind of have that issue. They've got bad mentality, they've just got bad attitudes. But
you have a perfect player for example, Alexandro is probably one of the players who is I haven't seen any nonsense with this guy for sure. He's not exactly quality, but I haven't seen any nonsense from Alexandro. So he's maybe probably an exception to the rule, but for sure,
he's too tired. Plays every game. He's too tired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what Arthur does for us. Going back to the discussion in regards to Dybala, true galaxy. I think the problem is that wingers in Italian teams have to defend. So it's not simply Dybala is not good at right wing. It's more like he has to defend when he plays, if he plays there, which consumes his stamina. Well, Graham, are you back with us?
I think I am. I hope so.
You're miles behind, son. Miles behind.
Sorry about that, guys. My computer just.
What's your take on this one?
I mean, I just think he's not suited to playing out in that role. When he first arrived at Juventus, he was a striker pretty much, and he's always worked best when he's got another striker to work off with, or he's slightly deeper in somewhat of an attacking midfield role, like when we were playing the 5-star formation as it was known in 16-17 season. he's always thrived when he's got a partner like Higuain, or he's in just behind the striker in a 4-2-3-1 formation. So I don't see him working out wide. I mean, it's just not suited to him when it comes to player roles.
But also the fact is the fair comment that True Blacks is making. Our style of football, we always tend to be saying track back. It's the tracking back, right? We expect our wingers to track back, and that's true. Now, Dybala, to a certain extent, does a bit of that, but not to what, like a Cuadrado, for example. Right? This is where I kind of 2 months. Cuadrado is fantastic going forward. He's good at tracking back, not so much at defending, but tracking back he does. But the expectation for a player to go forward and attack and create play, draw in the fouls, do that kind of creative football, and at the same time being asked to track all the way back again to maybe the halfway line, just before the halfway line, you think the guy will get tired out. And if you want to play him game in, game out, Dybala is great. He's a fantastic player, but I can't see him doing that all the time. And that's a fair point. It's the track back. It's an issue. You can't expect him to do that all the time.
Yeah, we remember who did that most of the time. It was actually Max Allegri, who was very, very focused on that, tracking back and doing the defensive work. And with Maurizio Sarri, we barely saw any tactics whatsoever. So, yeah, for sure. Z says hi.
Ciao, Z.
Ciao.
Nice to see you. Just drop us a question if you have any. Let's go to another topic, and this is a much more transfer related. So we have this guy coming in, Weston Mckennie, out of nowhere, from Schalke 04, on loan, I believe, and then certain criteria are met. We will actually get him permanently. To be honest, I haven't heard of the guy before. Probably you didn't either.
What? You take your piss, mate. He's the American Edgar Davids, mate.
Oh, is he now?
Oh, yeah. All he's missing is the goggles.
And drugs.
Yeah, well, now, listen. Guys, whoever's going to comment, please tell me, please do not tell me you knew about this guy and he was going to be a huge thing, because I find it difficult to believe. No one saw this coming. No one. I don't think even Weston knew. Weston had his Benedict eggs in the morning and his sausage ready to go training, and then gets a call.
Burger and chicken and fries, burger and fries. That's what they do.
No. It's in Germany. 99999. Sausage and beer, but not beer. But kraut and sausage, and he gets a call. By the way, you're off to Torino. Pack your bags. Arrivederci. Ciao, ciao. Guten Tag. That's a surprise. Huge surprise.
I'd never heard of him before.
Oh, what do you expect from this guy?
I mean, he's young, so that's always a plus side, It can't be any worse than Matuidi or Khedira.
No, of course. But the fact is, look. Again, I'm not one to BS here, right? The fact is, I did what everyone did. YouTube, his best goals of the season, like everyone did for Vidal. Who's Vidal when he came from Leverkusen? Who was he? And then clearly it turned out to be, for us, a fantastic player at the end of the day. So, look, he's young, he's hungry, he's an American. Americans are very competitive in their sports, very competitive, at the top level. He's already playing for, I was going to say decent team, but they finished like 13th or right to the second part of the league, but that's not his fault. But what I've read and what I've done, my kind of basic research, is the guy did really well for the team, right? Really pulled the team through some big games for them. So, look, there's a reason why all of us do our day jobs and Tichy and all the other scouts do their job. They must see something in there, right? And today's market, to finish up on my part, today's market's a tough market, boys. COVID, money, no game, no ticket sales, nothing has come through. So we have to be more savvy in our shopping. So we'll see. Again, jury's out.
Lorenzo, USA. USA. But this is actually an interesting point because, of course, some of our smarter Twitter accounts, we're gonna probably talk about this like a commercial move. We're diving into the USA market with this move. Do you believe this is to be the case, or do you believe actually that Weston Mckennie has the quality to start for Juve?
I mean, I think it's about both. I mean, I don't see him starting for Juventus, not anytime soon. But again, I don't know that much about the player. But just thinking about a relative unknown player, I know like they've got people in the chat saying Americans know who he is, but that's because they keep up to date with Americans in Europe for the national team and stuff like that. But it's a win-win scenario in the management size, I believe. They sign an American talent, so that's going to break them into the American market, and he could possibly be a very good player. I mean, he's young as well. I think he's in his early 20s anyway, so like 21, 22. Yeah, 22 years old. So there's a lot of upside on that. And you don't want to be splashing all your money on aging players, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point. So it's always good to spend a bit of money on a young player, because if it doesn't work out, at least there's a sell-on value.
We can see some Americans discussing his status in the comment section. So, Sheer, by the way, welcome. First time I see you in the chat. Americans were aware of who he was. Young player wins the ball. But Lorenzo says, he's barely known here. So I really don't know. I really don't know. But let's wait and see. The guy is clearly hungry. Well, he should be, because he's joining Juve. And according to the attributes and according to his previous coaches, he is the guy who's the first one to run to get the ball back, because he is the one who tracks back. Physical stamina works. So yeah, it will be exciting to see. But also this comment right here fits the style Pirlo wants to play. But which style? This is what I don't get. We keep talking about the Pirlo style. We've seen we've seen 60 minutes of them playing against under 23s, and that was friendly. So I mean, there is nothing to compare, nothing to look at. So I don't know. Of course, we have Bentancur, we have Arthur, we have Sami Khedira, who might stay actually, amazingly. And we have Aaron Ramsey. I mean, we have players in the midfield. Adrien Rabiot, of course, as well. I'm not sure if Mckennie will get this, will start so many games, but yeah, we never know. Lorenzo, sure, but not to the point where the move was done for Marquinhos. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
of course it is. I know I've got American friends out there, that are kind of, we've got an American playing for a top team in Europe, which is Juventus, of course, and they're saying, wow. So it's opened up a few eyebrows, right? So is it a marketing ploy? I don't think so. Look, the guy's over 6 foot tall, man. He's a big boy. You look how he is. He's built. I mean, he's a proper. He reminds me. It's funny enough, not as big as Adam Traore from Wolves, but he reminds me in the sense of his stature, his presence. So, if he's going to be the so-called the pit bull of the team, right, get the ball, then yeah, by all means. Listen, like I said, guys, him and Arthur are, and to an extent, Kulusevski, to an extent, not all the way. It's judgment day still to happen. We still need the jury's still out on those boys. We still have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, true. Let's talk a bit about Kulusevski as well. How exciting is he going to be for this season, Graham? I mean, Kulusevski, of course, was a very surprise move for us.
Again,
way back in the day, in January. Nobody saw that coming. Again, yes, but during the post-COVID season, let's put it like that, he erupted. He was excellent for Parma. So now it'll be interesting to see what he does for us. Graham, what's your take on the Swedish fella?
Well, at first I was like most people. You saw the fee; it was like something like 30 plus million for this guy that few people had heard of or few people had watched at Parma. And we were saying to ourselves, why the hell are we spending this amount of money on a guy that's playing at Parma and he's like 19, 20 years old? What has he done to warrant that transfer fee? And the problem was you had clubs like Chelsea around the same time period spending roughly a similar amount of money on a guy like Ziyech from Ajax. So immediately you compare the two players and the transfer fee and you think, what a waste of money. You should have spent that on a guy like Ziyech with Champions League experience and more experience playing at top games. But then you started watching him at Parma and you started seeing the performances, and it's beginning to look like really good signing. I'm not going to say a bargain signing because like 30 plus million is never a bargain. I don't care how much the market gets. 30 million is never a bargain. But it looks like the potential is there to be a very good player for sure. I mean, I think he scored something like 10 goals for Parma. And Parma, they're not the biggest team. So there's a lot of upside to that. And personally, I'm excited about this. I want to see him start some games.
Mm-hmm.
But to Shear's point about he didn't stop his national team, that was an actual... I read about that in an article this morning. There was a huge uproar about that in Sweden. Huge uproar as to why he didn't start, you know. So he clearly in Sweden think highly of this guy, right? They think he's the next... I don't call him a Kim Kallström or Zlatan. I think he's the next...
Well.
Yeah. But the point is, you know, he's towards the end of this last season, he showed some glimpses of some pretty much... I mean, to be honest, he destroyed Merda, which I'm happy about. So, you know, so we'll see. Again, like I said, jury's out on him as well. There's 3 juries out.
Yeah. Where does that leave Dybala? Going back to Dybala, because those two are very similar players, aren't they?
Well, Kulusevski is more about the pace on the sideline and brings the ball back in. I mean, I've looked at few. Actually, when we signed him, I was watching Parma games on the side just to watch him play, and he does bring the ball back into the box, right? So maybe it could be a 1-2 link-up play with Dybala, right? So Dybalino, Kulusevski could be a match made in heaven, boys. And that's me being optimistic here, right? The 1-2 touch football with these 2 boys. So pace. So we'll see.
Yeah. Ivan is in the chat. Welcome. I'm going to wait with that question, Ivan, because we have a whole rant saved up for Luis Suarez.
Do we have to?
I know, Graham is for it.
Yeah, Graham has set up all the energy. But yeah, Kulusevski, we don't know much about the player. We all know about his stats and what he's done before. Young player, of course. No-nonsense player, for sure. He took the Serie A by the balls, basically, after the COVID. So, yeah, we'll see. As Ober says, yeah, the jury is out on him as well. So, basically, right now, we don't have anybody else coming in unless Luis Suarez comes in. So, before we go into Luis Suarez's situation, we have other options, as Shear says that right there. Morata, Ken, there was rumors there.
I mean, I would have taken Ken, but as a backup option. It depends how much money they would have wanted or if it would have been a loan. But I don't want... When Juventus have been looking at striker options, I've always thought to myself, well, Dybala is your first team regular. You know, play him through the middle and have someone as a backup. I mean, you can't have Higuain as a backup on his wages, and you won't have Suarez as a backup on his wages either. So bring a guy like Ken in and he'll know his role, rotational.
Yeah, but guys, listen, you got Z talking about rumors surrounding Morata back again, because obviously it's looking like Suarez is happening, it's not happening, being bada boom, bada bing, you know, the mercato circus is constantly like this. But I don't understand what the issue is here. Now, people are talking about, you know, the Mandzukic. Look, we had Llorente, we had Mandzukic, we had those target men. Did we win anything like Champions League? Did the game change? Did the football change? No. But what happens when you got a target man? Listen, I'm an old school type of player. I like the ball to be played at the feet and run with the feet. I like the 70s Brazil team, you know, or, you know, the time where, you know, Pele, and he would run with the ball, right? There's long ball bollocks, you know, where you have a target man to hit and bring players in. I don't like that football. That's my personal opinion, right? So why don't play Dybala as a false 9, Kulusevski on the right, Ronaldo on the left, have Regista as Bentancur, right? And have then Arthur in the park there. So, you know, I can't forget about Keane. Keane went to Everton. I was sad to see him go because it was a young talent, right? He's went to Everton. Guys, 2 goals. 2 goals. How do you justify that for 40 million? It's unjustifiable.
Yeah, but I have to say that. Well, the thing is, if this system doesn't work, if the system doesn't work with Dybala as a false 9, if we keep banging against the wall for 85 minutes and nothing is working, Genoa are sitting back tight and parking the bus, we know we need something different. So this is why I was I was positive from a footballing perspective, not from a financial perspective. I was positive to a Dzeko move because I know that Dzeko would have done something. He would have caused some damage in the box, creating something different for us if the Dybala, the 500 crosses from Cuadrado and Alexandro doesn't work. We need to have something different. And Dzeko comes in, steals one header, and bam, 1-0. This can happen. I'm not sure this would happen with Morata. I highly doubt it. Morata, yes, we all remember back in the day, he was an exciting player at times. It was Real Madrid. They gave us this young talent, and well, basically, he was a good buddy with Dybala and probably Simone Zaza as well. So yeah, he was a likable character for sure. But then he went to Chelsea, and now he's Atletico Madrid, I believe. And really nothing impressive. And apparently his mental state is not so well. He's very fragile mentally. So I'm not sure if he's ready for this challenge. I'm sure if he's up to par.
And another thing as well, guys, about Keane, right, being in the UK and all that, right, he's had some people don't realise, he's had some off-field antics, right, through the COVID. He threw a COVID party, got fined by Everton. He was in a scrap in some public place, so I'm not saying he's like the next Balotelli 2.0. And what I'm saying is that when he left Juve, I believe Juve is very, that's why Cassano never joined us, because Cassano was a wild beast. You can't tame a wild horse, right? Because Juventus have structure. As soon as a player off the field causes problem, they're pretty much out the door, right? They're pretty much out the door. So Keane is starting to cause issues off the pitch. You bring him on, like you said, Roman, at 85th minute. I don't see him going to make an impact. He's not that type of player to make that impact. I don't see him. And him starting for us, you've got to be kidding me, man.
I'm not so sure about his strength. What is he good at?
He's young.
I mean, he had a good run. Like, he had a good run of 5 games or something for us.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm by no means Moise Kean's biggest fan, but just judging by all the names that I've seen Juventus being linked with, like all the names outside of Moise Kean and possibly maybe Milik, they're all first team regulars. These guys aren't going to come and sign for Juventus to sit on the bench. So I mean, when it came to looking at the names who were being linked with, Moise Kean's the only guy that would sit on the bench and not put up much of a fuss. I mean, compared to Luis Suarez or Edin Dzeko.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, yeah. We don't know with Dzeko though, for sure. We don't know, but it's not gonna happen anyway. It looks that way, at least. Yeah, true galaxy. But the ideal of Dybala as a striker didn't really work. Dybala likes to drop deep, so the penalty box was empty. Yeah, but I can I answer this one, because this is very interesting. This tactics with crossing the ball into the box, it was all about Cristiano. As soon as Cristiano was in the box, we needed to cross the ball. And this was the Sarri tactics when the Sarri plan A didn't work. Because players, opponent was basically parking the bus at some point of the game, and then Cuadrado started crossing to Ronaldo. He hit and miss most of the game, most of the time. So, and Dybala, yes, of course, he'd like to drop deep. But to be honest, this is for Sarri to figure out, right? If Dybala drops deep, how do you exploit? How do you do that? How do you make something good out of it? And what Sarri did manage to do is actually do something about it. It still went on to be crosses to Cristiano, and of course nobody's in the box. But we had absolutely nobody in our squad to complement Cristiano in the box, because we shipped Mandzukic, we froze him out. So that was the only true target man we had. Pipita was just fat and lazy and out of form, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he's still there. So we actually don't know what's going to happen with him. Yes, they're saying that he's not in the future plans. But, well, guys, he's still there. Inter Miami rumors are there, but there's no done deal. So this comment right here, to be honest, I feel this is more on Sarri than it's for Dybala.
And can I just chime in here? Because, guys, let's look at teams like Man City, Liverpool, Barcelona, for a certain extent, didn't have target men.
Again.
Didn't have target men. You know what I mean? You know, they had this false nine. Look at Spain in the 2000 when they won. They never had a proper striker. They never had a striker. They were filled with attacking midfielders that would score goals left, right, and centre. And I agree to your point, Roman. I think you know, it is Sarri's. You're back on, Graham. I can see that. You know, it was Sarri just bollocks. It was so repetitive. Ball go in, get there, another. Okay, the defenders will just keep hitting the ball out all the time. You know, it's coming in, head it out. It's easy, bread and butter every day. You know, I keep saying this. Give Dybala the opportunity and the freedom to play with his feet on the ground with the ball, and let him bring the play in. Job done.
Yeah. We need a proper striker that brings out defenders and creates space, cause havoc. Yeah, this is why maybe Dzeko will be a solution. Basically, there are so very few players out there that are quality strikers. I mean, Lewandowski. This is a quality striker, but he's never going to leave Bayern, and he's way too old for us as well. Zaza, I see there is a comment about Zaza. No way. Please.
He's good against Napoli.
Yeah, and he almost always gets a yellow card.
What about Caputo?
Puto.
What about Caputo from Sassuolo? Why? I mean, he's a silent assassin. Scores goals without making a big fuss about it.
Yeah, but then again, when you have these players in this particular system like Sassuolo, they work for this particular system, but I hardly can see them work for any other system. For example, Duvan Zapata at Atalanta, he was absolutely crazy for Atalanta, but for some strange reason, he never managed it with Napoli. That's because apparently they didn't use him correctly. They didn't prioritize this guy because they had Higuain, I believe. He was at the time, maybe even before Pipita. But Gasperini focused on Zapata and to use this guy as a target man. So use the strengths. And with Caputo, I'm not sure what he's good at, to be quite honest. Yes, he's assassin, but still, we need something better. We need something to bully their position. Yeah, another example. Immobile. Sorry, Graham, you just have to take this one. Another example: Immobile for Italy versus Lazio. Yeah, that's it. Ciro Immobile, guys, 36 goals or whatever for Lazio, but absolutely useless for Italy.
It's a schmuck. Absolutely
system
schmuck.
System player.
Yeah.
The thing that worries me a little is like all the players we are being linked to. I mean, you keep bringing it up. A target man. So like we keep hearing about Pirlo's style, and he's going to maybe play with a 3-man centre back, a 3-5-2 formation type styles. He's going to maybe ditch 4-3-3 or whatever. But the majority of these guys were linked with our target men, and that's just been the same crap that we've been playing the past 2 seasons. I mean, 18-19. Again, a target man. It was either Mandzukic or Ronaldo. And then we bring Sarri in for the previous season. I didn't see Sarri ball. At times, I just saw us playing a very poor version of what Allegri had us playing. Pinging crosses into the box and hoping that Ronaldo would get his head on the end of it. So when I see us constantly being linked with target men, it just makes me think it's going to be the same formation and tactics all over again.
Well, that's the thing, right? So I keep saying this. I sound like a broken record. Dybala false 9, right wing, Kulusevski, Cuadrado, Benedeschi, Costa. They're not going anywhere, Benedeschi and Costa, right? They're not going to go. I know Costa's made of glass, but we still got them as options. And Costa, if he plays half an hour and doesn't get injured, that's a bonus, right? And I genuinely believe, I get excited when Costa comes on at the 60th minute because I feel he injects a bit of pace, especially when the game is so stagnant and it's 0-0 or 1-1 and it's just nothing's happening. Costa brings that extra...
His thighs also get excited.
Yes. My loins get excited. Yeah, but the point is, so play Dybala. So forget, and who's this? There's one I just saw the comment there. What about Shearer about right back and left back? Why are we not talking about this? Why is it all about Suarez and Dzeko and all these bollocks of the players in the front? Our left back is Sandro. Pellegrini doesn't seem to be going anywhere. because it looks like he's staying. So, okay. So Pellegrini, Sandro, right? Danilo, MDS, Matteo De Sciglio, and Quadrado. I'm thinking to myself, man, Quadrado, let's play him up front. Let's play him up front as a loose forward, which, funny enough, on every single pre-lineup score thing that you see before the game, Quadrado's a forward. And we know he plays as a right back for us.
Yeah, true. Either Graham is very, very happy right now, or he is froze again. I don't know. But this is a lovely picture. What about right back, left back? Yes, I agree. I mean, as I believe I saw that we, as soon as we don't sell, we won't buy anything. So if we will stick with the Di Sciglio, Danilo, Quadrado, Alexandro, and Pellegrini. I believe that's it. There'll be no changes there. I don't know. Maybe this is not a priority. And the question is, I don't know why. Yeah, Graham's picture should be a meme. Yes, exactly.
Well, I think to your point, Roman, True Guys is saying right back won't be a game changer. I'm not talking about being a game changer, but we need a quality right back. How many times? I know Z, if she's still on, she's a big Quadrado fan. I know there's other few people who are quite big Quadrado fans, but how many times have we seen Quadrado bollocks up the ball when he's defending, or pass the ball to the opposing team? Going forward, he's fantastic. Dribble, pass, gets a bit of play involved. But unfortunately, defending is just not his suit. And I say this time and time again, Quadrado is a fantastic utility player right now. Right? Not what he was when he was at Udinese, what he was when he was at Chelsea or Fiorentina, all those other teams. He's now, to me, he reminds me of not the same style of play, but the utility aspect of it, like a Sturaro, Padoin, Brinadelli, Pesotto. Come on to the 60th, 70th minute, we get an injury, or we need some pace at the front, we need something magic to be done, he can come on. If a right back goes pear-shaped, we bring him on, right? So that kind of play, I don't think we should sell Quadrado anymore. He should be sitting on the bench and come out as a trump card for us, as a card, a player that comes on as a utility.
Would you even consider him as a right back anymore? We just
No. There's a reason. Come on, might as well put Buffon on the left wing then.
Yeah,
that doesn't work. But maybe this is Sarri. Huh? This was Sarri.
Yeah, but it started with Allegri. Also, that's he's the guy who converted Quadrado as a right back for some emergency reason, I believe. And of course, we cannot rely on Danilo and Di Sciglio to be fit throughout the whole season for us. If one gets injured, I'm sure the other one will be as well as soon as. So we'll be left with the question of how do we play in the defense? 3 at the back or 2 at the back?
Well, Di Sciglio is Allegri's pet boy, right? So it's his pet boy. So at the end of the day, I don't. Di Sciglio's there because of Allegri. But Allegri's gone now, so I don't think. I don't see him anymore.
We're the only big club that are playing with a fake right back, Ivan. Yeah, it worked at times though. It worked at times, but this season, no. Or last season, sorry. Some crazy, dodgy decisions from Quadrado, and there we go.
Don't you boys know it's known as the false right back, false number 2. Now look, you know what, guys? How many times have we seen Juventus last season, and you're watching the game, you think, make a change. Let's make a change. Allegri, and look, I'm not. I keep talking about positive Allegri. Right? Allegri had his faults as well, but Allegri at the same time. How many times has Allegri made a sub and it changed the game? How many times he did that with players that came onto the pitch and made an impact, score a goal, did an assist, pulled in a penalty? Sarri, when he did a change, it did absolutely jack shit with it. So we need players. When people talk about depth, right, you need to think about what that depth is. There's no point of having a depth made of glass, because as soon as you put that piece of glass on the pitch, it's going to shut into a million pieces, right? So let's not fool or kid anyone ourselves saying, oh, we got Costa and we got Benedeschi, we got Ramsey, we got you put Costa on it, and after 10 minutes he's bust again for 4 months, and he does his TikToks running in his flip flops with his girlfriend on a go kart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the same time, in the same breath, I get excited when I see him play when he comes on, because he has that little pace and energy, right? So, to me, on the bench, you talk about these players: Cuadrado, Costa, Ramsey, and Bernardeschi. 4 guaranteed bench starters. That's how I would see it.
We cannot trust starting with these guys for sure.
No.
That's true. And Yusuf saying that there is a problem that we don't have enough money in the mercato. Yes, and that's not only to us. This is going back to the COVID, of course. This is where it all started. We expected to make money in the Champions League. We expected to make money from the Allianz Stadium, but it never happened. And there we go. We are losing tons of money, and with Cristiano on the huge wage bill, and Khedira, of course, in there. Higuain is still there, and many others who shouldn't have been there, but they're still there. We're just wasting money. And of course, if we're going to get somebody, it will be through some swaps, through some deals that basically don't cost anything as a fee, as a clean fee. So there will be like huge loans, and then you get the obligation to buy, all that kind of stuff, So that's what's going to happen.
I think another thing as well. Look, if you look at the market, right, calcio mercato globally, right? When I say globally, guys, I mean England, the European football, right? The only team that's spending swaths of money is Chelsea, right? They spent about 153 million, but people forget that money was from old Hazard money, because they had a transfer ban for a couple of two windows. They didn't spend any money, right? So, in a way. I'm not a Chelsea closet fan, by the way. I'm just looking at the facts, and we're talking about financials here, because I do love this topic about finance. They spent 153 million on these three players. Tom Werner, Kravitz, he was like 70 million, and then who was the other chap? But anyway, the three players that they've got, right, use that money from Harris. They're the only people spending big. And that's it. They're going to shut shop now. They're not going to spend any more now, unless they sell players, of course. If you look at the current calcio mercato in Italy, you look at Merda, who've signed Korov for $1 million, who are looking to get Vidal pretty much on a free, right? So, and they got one more player who tends to be, I think it was fantastic. Actually, you know who it was? A Zurich fan made me laugh. He said it looks like they're going to win the Coppa Italia of 2014, because they had all these players who were pretty good back then, right? Welcome back, Graham.
Sorry, guys.
Miles behind. But you can see, looking at our closest competitor, they're not going to be blowing 100 mil, 200 mils on various players, right, guys? So we're all in the same boat here, all of us.
Yeah, that's true. But still, Inter are buying, are getting players from the old Pensioners Club, It's the old 30s, the whole gang of them. It's Vidal, it's Kolarov, and there's one still there. I don't know. It's but yeah. Sheer, welcome back, Graham. By the way,
good to be back.
Yeah. Will anyone take Regani? Well, that's the thing. Nobody. We had an offer from Arsenal for 30 million 2 or 3 seasons ago. We didn't take it. We kept it. We kept the guy, hoping that he will do wonders. He'll be the understudy to Chiellini, Bonucci, Barzagli, Benatia, and the whole gang. Well, he was there. Nothing happened. He was absolutely useless for us when we needed him to be at his best. Against Milan was the prime example last season, where he absolutely shit the bed. So no wonder nobody wants the guy. And I mean, he's in such a comfortable position. He doesn't like challenges. I think he likes being comfortable. He's comfortable where he is. He doesn't care if he plays or not, because if he would care, he would voice his opinion, voice his concerns about playing time. And Juve are happy with the guy because, he would just sit on the bench and pile up the numbers, and that's it.
I just want to say something, right? I'm not a big fan of Regani, but there's a little thing called homegrown player. So, for someone to be a 4th, 5th defender choice who's happy to take a paycheck and to sit on the bench, you don't get many of those type of players, right? So Regani is one of those, right? So I'm not a fan. When he comes on, I shit myself, because I think, we're going to lose here. And how many times has he picked up? How many times? Countless times. But he's a homegrown player. He counts towards the homegrown rules. and he's happy to pick up a paycheck at sitting on the bench all the time. So, we need those type of players, unfortunately.
Yeah. However, Rugani is. I mean, this is such a dangerous position to have a backup in as a central back. If we need this guy, we need somebody stable, somebody solid to come in and do the job for us. Rugani is not that guy. If we have a homegrown player, it could have been a winger, It could have been a midfielder or something, probably striker. Moise Kean, for example. I'm not sure if he's a homegrown player. I think he is.
He is.
If he comes back. I mean, that would also be an argument if we're going to bring him back on a very, very cheap one. But then we need to get rid of Rugani then.
I mean, Rugani's fine as long as you don't play three at the back, because that increases his chances of starting a game or coming on as a substitute. Like, I mean, it's already been brought up by Ivan in the comments. Like, as a fifth choice, it's fine because you're rarely ever going to see him. You're only going to see him in an emergency if you have an injury crisis. But, if you get someone like Chiellini that's inevitably going to get injured, then Demiral will play him. Leave Demiral more to select.
Yeah, both Demiral was injured. Chiellini is injury prone, so for sure we cannot.
People say he's a fifth defender. He's actually fourth, to be honest, because Chiellini, unfortunately, is at a point where he's a monster. He's a beast. I've always loved the player, man. But unfortunately, he's not gone down the pecking order because of skill. By all means, he's still a solid defender. Just his fitness, man. He's getting old as well. It's.
Yeah. I said this during the Italy against Bosnia. I said this, man, retire from the national team at least. Let the young guys in. I don't see a point of playing for Azzurri, making yourself available for yet another game of football when you very well know that you need to be fully fit for Juve if you are even going to continue playing. So I reckon he will be playing for Juve this season, and that's it. If he gets another injury, I think Graham has said this earlier. If he gets one more injury that is serious, he's done.
Yeah, because he'll be 37 next year, and he's got a catalogue of injuries behind him. So I would not be surprised if this is his final season.
Yeah,
that's the end of BBC, boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still got Buffon though, so.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Matthijs when he's back, though. So it's amazing that a 21-year-old, or how old he is our best defender at this very moment. Well, not at this very moment, but at least for the last season he was.
No, listen. He's been listen. We talked about this before. My star player of last season was De Ligt, right? For me, my main player for Juventus was De Ligt. Why? He came on board. Chiellini got injured. Said, "Young man, get your boots on. You're going to come in now. You're going to cover this big hole in the gap, right?" Handballs, looking dog shy, unlucky with calls, thinking, "Jesus, what's going on?" And people forget he was 20 or 19 at the time, or 20 at the time. And you think, shit. 75 million price tag over his head. The world is watching him. The expectation's high. And then to see him progress through that, to see him watch. I mean, I feel like it's more like you guys talk about your sons, like Dybala, and I see like my son. You see him grow, and you see him becoming a monster of a player, a monster.
And remember also all the rumors about Barcelona crying because he went for money.
And De Jong, and you see how they signed, and De Jong was all happy. Well, we all know that all ended in a messy finale. But anyway, all night, boys. But my point is, De Ligt, he is a monster. And I genuinely hope, boys, that this guy stays with us for a long, long time. Realistically, I know he won't, but I hope he does. At least when he's 26, 27, maybe. At least 27.
Hopefully.
Ivan got a question for us. What do you think about Pirlo's backroom staff? Seems to have a nice mix of experience and also a very renowned match analysis.
Good question. Good question.
Graham.
Well, I mean, like, you guys know me, like the way I operate during pre-season, mid-season. Like, I know we've got Igor Tudor, don't we, back? He's back as a coach. And That's the only name that's coming to my mind right now. But it's good to see former players coming back into the player staff. I mean, we were all excited when Andrea Barzagli came in last season. I mean, obviously he left for whatever reasons, but you always get excited when you see players that you grew up watching returning as coaches, because you remember how good they were as a player, or you remember what they did for the club. So, I'm all for it, but he does need all the experience he can get behind him when it comes to backroom staff. That's for sure, because like I said earlier on, Pirlo has zero experience himself as a manager.
Yeah. Listen, I'm of all people, I'm ecstatic to see Igor Tudor back at Juventus, right? Because I admire the guy. He was, as a defender, he was an absolute beast of a defender, right? And if you remember, chaps, when Pirlo had his half an hour press unveiling, right, and what his thoughts were, he was saying he brought Igor on board, for the defensive aspect of the game, right? To bring that in, because guys, we were leaking goals left, right, and center. There's a comment, worst defender that we had was Bonucci. No, I wouldn't say forever. I mean, last season he had a bad season, right? He was a twerk merchant, right? I call him a twerk merchant because he had his damn backside, or this new style of defending, I mean, his backside out all the bloody time. I don't understand that. And when Chiellini, we had this discussion before, Chiellini got injured, Bonucci stepped up, took the captain's armband, and he looked good. But I don't know what happened. Like after COVID, he just went P-tongue, or even before that, he was just going all pear-shaped, right? And the fact, coming back to the point, Igor Tudor was brought in, not only for his experience, obviously, but also to look, and Pirlo said this, to look at the defense, right? I'm not being funny. You look at Igor Tudor, he's well over 6 foot. You don't want to fuck with the boy. He's a big boy. He's going to tell you, shut your mouth and just do what I say,
Yeah, true. And, of course, some part of the staff they have different experience with, yes, we have a renowned match analyst, yes, but also the fact that Pirlo was the guy who wanted these guys. So he basically acknowledges that this is the stuff that I don't know. The defending, I don't know. Igor, you will fix this. Match analysis, I'm not so good at that. I need help. Who is the best at the game? This guy. And then we have probably some motivators as well in there, guys who know how to work on fitness. I think there was also a guy from the fitness department that was brought back.
From Conte, in 2011. He was called Mr. Muscle. Mr. Muscle, not because he's huge, because
the injuries were so few.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a very good. Yes. So it's interesting to see. But at the end of the day, it will also be very exciting to see if it is Andrea Pirlo who calls it at the end of the day, or is he basically still the boss, or will he be run over by the more dominant personalities like Igor Tudor, like maybe some other guys? Because remember, Igor Tudor has already been a manager at Udinese and Hajduk Split before he arrived at Juve as an assistant. So I don't know if Igor Tudor is totally okay with this, being as an assistant only to a coach who never coached before.
No, I think in a way, I think his ego will take a slight hit to the side. Fair enough, but I think maybe on the sly, he's thinking if Pirlo gets sacked, he's the next one up, isn't he? So come December,
I really hope he doesn't think that. I really hope he doesn't. He's not that cynical.
Will you be surprised?
Of course not. But I mean, the comment there by Shearer about Montero coming in. I mean, he's coached. So he knows his stuff, right? So I'll be the very first boy wanting Montero back to Juventus fold as well. But one day,
knows his stuff and doesn't take crap for anyone.
True. All right.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna make a cup of tea because everyone because Mr. McKennie has maybe have a bit of a rant.
I just don't get it.
Before we start ranting about this, just a little bit of background noise for you. So we tried for Edin Dzeko. Well, originally we tried for Arkadiusz Milik, and then it was Dzeko, and then it was Ken, and then it was Morata, and then we were Cavani as well, all over the place. And then as soon as Messi talk started, of course, Messi, rumors going to Juve joining up with Cristiano. What a bunch of nonsense that's also started. But at the end of the day, Luis Suarez looks like got some traction. At the end of the day, it looks like he's coming. It looks like he's arriving. A 33-year-old striker scored 21 goals last season for Barca in all competitions, if I'm not mistaken. And there we go. The only thing that is between him and Juve right now is that he needs to take an Italian exam tomorrow, I believe, in order to confirm that he gets an Italian passport or whatever. I'm not so sure about that, but that seems to be the case. 10 million wages a season. Rumors are that this is for 3 seasons. Some say it's for three seasons. Others say it's for 2 seasons, and then an option for another year. So Agresti says 3 seasons. Somebody else says only 2 + 1. I don't believe anything until it's actually signed and officially announced. But question from Shear, of course, how do they afford his wages without selling? First and foremost, this is a financial question, so maybe Aubert, you can answer this one.
Simply, Higuain needs to go because they'll be like for like on wages.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sure that Higuain will be going. That's why I know you say he hasn't. If we don't get Suarez or we don't get a number 9, guys, Higuain is staying. That's for sure, because we cannot risk going a season without a proper striker, regardless what people have an opinion of Higuain. But Higuain, if he goes, that's when Suarez comes in. If Suarez comes in, Higuain will go, regardless.
Yeah. I don't think Suarez is a bad signing for now, as he's an intelligent player. However, offloading him is a potential problem. Graham.
See, that's the major problem. You can't. Once you sign Suarez, you're stuck with him until his contract ends. It's as simple as that. I mean, I know he's a big name in football. He's got a big reputation behind him, but the guy's 33 years old. He's got a catalogue of knee injuries. The guy had knee surgery in January that kept him out until June, roughly. That is a big injury and a big layoff for a guy that's 33 years old. And according to all the speculation, we're going to give Suarez, a guy that's had knee surgery and was out for something like 6 months or whatever, we're going to give him 10 million per season for 3 seasons. 2 at the very least, with possibly an option for a third year. That's the other rumour that I've heard. But, you know, people were coming to me and saying, like, it's a temporary move, it's a stopgap signing. Stopgap signings are not players that remain at the club for 2 or 3 years. And if we do sign Suarez, we will be stuck with him until his contract expires, unless we have another scenario like we've got with Higuain, where we're so desperate to get rid of him that we actually pay out his contract. And that's why I just see this another Higuain problem. Yes, like we do want to see Higuain leave, because Higuain he's not the player that he once was. You know, he's past his sell-by date. We all know that. But I just see, like, you know, people are thinking if we get rid of Higuain, Suarez is an immediate upgrade. He's not an upgrade if he's spending most of his time at J Medical on 10 million a year. And, you know, we were talking, I think we touched on this earlier on. The team overall, like especially last season, we lacked pace. We were so slow and pedestrian in our play. Where is the pace going to come from a 33-year-old? And the way you look at football, all the most successful teams right now, they play a high-pressing game. Liverpool, Bayern Munich. How are we going to play a pressing game with guys like, and I know he's one of the best players ever, Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez? Where's the pressing going to come from those two? You know? So, like, I just don't see why we should sign Suarez and spend that amount of money on him for that amount of time.
And to caveat, guys, apparently there's a nominal fee. Now, a nominal fee could be £1 million, 500,000 euros, or is that nominal fee 17 million euros or 15 million euros for a quality player? That's a nominal fee.
And don't forget as well, like I almost forgot to mention this, you know, the Juventus fan base for the most part is obsessed with winning the Champions League. I mean, In the beginning of every season, if you ask me what competition do I want to see Juventus win the most, I'm going to say Champions League. This is a guy that scored 2 goals over 2 seasons in the Champions League prior to last season. And when people were talking about the goals that he was going to be scoring, he played Merda, and everyone brings up the goal that he scored against them. But at the end of the day, it's Merda. They couldn't even beat Barcelona's B team when they needed to. So it's not really a high benchmark.
Suarez is not a bad sign. Welcome him with open arms. Well, I don't want to welcome him with open anything. As soon as I open anything, he will bite me. I find it appropriate.
I think with Z, I know she's a big fan of Suarez and hopes to join. And look, he's a good player, etc. But look, there was a comment here before, by Mergen about, I can't forget what he did to Evra at Man United. These off-field antics, guys. Racism, this bullshit he did with Chiellini. It still hurts, man. When Uruguay knocked us out, it hurts, man. I mean, I'm an Italian. It fucking hurts. That biting, because if we had VAR, he would have been sent off red card. When he did to Ghana, saved the ball in the hand and he was on the trial cheering. That's the kind of look. Michael Schumacher would do anything to win in Formula One. A player who's competitive would do anything to win, but not at the cost of racism, biting players. He has a habit. He beat the Chelsea player, Ivan, the Russian guy, the right back. Whatever. He beat Ivanovic. Yeah, he keeps biting players. Right? It's like Costa when he spat at that player. That was disgusting, man.
He did that also for Ajax as well back in the day. That's where he started.
So, guys, there's a lot of off-field stuff I'm not a fan of, and that's with all due respect. That's one thing I'm not a fan of all this stuff. As a footballer playing football to score goals, yes, he can do the job. I reckon, of course, he can, right? As long as he stays fit. But everything else, the package, it's a lot of baggage. It's like Icardi. Everyone talks about Icardi, but he does the business on the pitch. So,
at least Icardi doesn't bite people.
No, he steals wives.
He steals people. Now, let's turn this around. Let's see, what is he good at? What can Suarez bring to the table if he arrives?
Shithouse City.
Sorry, Graham, go.
I mean, he can score goals. It's just like he will get injured at some point. And we've already got a squad full of players that get injured. I mean, we've spoken about them. We've got Chiellini, Sami Khedira is very unlikely to leave. We've got Aaron Ramsey. We've got Douglas Costa. These guys get injured on a regular basis. So we're going to bring in Suarez. And when you look at his injury record, he always has issues with his knee. So at some point, he's going to miss games because of a knee injury. That is as simple as a fact. But he can score goals, and he does have quality, but he will decline. But for right now, for one season, sure, he'll score goals. But who's to say how he is next season? Will it be another Gonzalo Higuain? Higuain was brilliant in his debut season, and then he began to tailor off.
Yeah.
I think with Suarez, the thing is, if he joins us, he will score goals in Serie A. He will definitely score goals in Serie A. My biggest concern is Champions League. 3 goals in 3 seasons, folks. 3 goals. Check that up. Google it. 3 goals in 3 Champions League seasons. And we're a team who wants to win Champions League. How are you going to play that with your number 9 that only scores 3 goals? And this is with a guy who played with Messi and Neymar and Busquets and all these fantastic superstars in Barcelona, and he only managed 3 goals. I mean, that's yeah.
There's a very important thing here. We need to also to remember that football fans in general tend to forget the present. As soon as you hear a name of Suarez, as soon as you hear the name of Edison Cavani, as soon as you hear the name of those previous greats that have been great a couple of seasons ago, you think automatically that they still are world-class players. The fact is that Giorgio Chiellini is nowhere near as good as he has been 2-3 seasons ago. We can forget about it. I've seen some footage. I've seen some football fans out there saying that Chiellini should have been in a all-star Serie A team for this season, well, for the last season. I mean, why? He's been injured for the whole season, but still, you put him in there because it's Chiellini. The same goes with Suarez. We just don't. Why do we have to buy the guy just because his name is Luis Suarez and he scored tons for Ajax, Liverpool, and now for Barca? As Graham perfectly said it, injuries. This is a huge problem. Huge injuries, and we all know if injuries are happening to Juve, we don't have a plan B. So with Suarez coming in, I doubt that he will just sit on the bench and be happy with that. For the 10 million a season, no, for sure. He will be livid. He will for sure require to play. Of course, if we play for whatever, with the Dybala as a false niner, Suarez needs to stay out. But what if he doesn't? Where does that leave Dybala? Will Dybala sit on the bench suddenly?
No, I can't see Dybala sitting on the bench, boys. Because if you got Suarez, Ronaldo, and Dybala, I don't know, change the way the football completely. Ronaldo plays like a free roll striker, left-sided field, and Suarez plays up front, and Dybala plays deep. Then where does that leave with Kulusevski? You know,
Yeah.
where does that leave with Arthur? Then, like, where does Trequartista? I mean, it changes. Look, a lot of questions, a lot of questions over there. Look, this thing about mercato, as everyone knows, people follow people on Twitter and on social media. To me, I find it difficult to switch off social media, but I'd love to switch off Twitter for 3 months and then come back and say, okay, that's what we bought and who we sold, because it just keeps regurgitating the same bullshit every day. You know, it's now apparently we're going back to Cavani now. Cavani said he's not joining us because of his loyalties to Napoli. I find that hard to believe, because if we're going to pay you a fat paycheck and you're going to score goals, you're going to play with Ronaldo, I think that's bullshit, right? And then, you know, you talked about Dzeko. Okay, now it's not Dzeko anymore. Now it's Suarez. Suarez has failed his Italian exam, and now we're looking back at Morata. So, you know what? We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, when it comes to this time of year, it's all gossip and speculation until it's official.
Yeah. But then you go ahead on this. Let's comment right there from you. Just don't think there are many options. Well, we bought Weston Mckennie out of nothing. We haven't heard about Weston Mckennie. Suddenly he pops up, arrives at the Turin airport, and there we go, out of nowhere. So there are options out there. There are players out there. Of course, we don't know if they are good enough. We don't know what we want, basically. It looks that way, because apparently Dzeko, I mean, if you compare Dzeko to Suarez, those are two different players.
Oh, yeah.
Two different players. But then we wanted Dzeko, now suddenly we want Luis Suarez. And don't tell me that Luis Suarez will be a beast in the box, because Dzeko is miles better. He will head the ball. He will bully the players. You can play off Edin Dzeko. I'm not sure if you can play off Luis Suarez, who is injury prone. It's just not possible. So two different players, in my opinion. So first of all, we need to find out, what do we really want? What do we need? Do we need a target man? Do we need a proper striker who can score goals? What do we need? If we keep changing our priorities every day, we won't be able to find anybody. So Cavani for one season, okay, fine. Take him for one season and that's it. And then bring Icardi for the next season. I will be fine with that. But at least we know what we're looking for. But just to go back and forth with Luis Suarez, and then go to Dzeko, and then go to Zapata, and then go to Cavani. I mean, all over the place. We need to figure out what we really want.
Well, guys, exclusive breaking news. You've heard it here first, folks. This is all a smokescreen. All of it is a smokescreen. And you know what? No. Picture can go back and Man United Rotterdam. Because that. Look, guys, I know if you're some Pogba fans, you and I, we can talk about that later if you want to. But all the smokescreen, right? All the attention's on Suarez and Dzeko. You know why? Because actually, Titch is in Madrid right now, talking to get Bale on loan for free to Juventus and pay half his wage. Imagine that. You heard it here first.
Imagine that it's actually Karim Benzema.
You guys laugh. But you know what? We had Winston out of nowhere, Kulusevski out of nowhere, Arthur. No one knew about Arthur and Pjanic swap. Where did that come from? You know, how many times have we seen we've been linked to the player and we actually got that player? De Ligt, Ronaldo. Come on.
I mean, Bale would just be like the stumbling point with him. He would be more complicated than Suarez or anyone else on his wages alone, trying to agree a certain percentage, because Juventus couldn't afford his wages 100%, and Real Madrid, they want as much of his wages off the wage bill as possible.
I'm just messing.
I know.
Yeah, and also he apparently he doesn't even speak Spanish after all these years in Spain. He still doesn't speak Spanish.
Too busy playing golf.
It's a good fitness
Very cool.
I love Ivan's comment there, the last one. I love that.
It's true.
Yeah, and we bite, and we bite like crazy. We just tend to stick to this one. Like, Suarez is coming. Oh, let's talk about this. Dzeko. Oh, let's talk about this. But at the end of the day, these more like informed journalists, Agresti, Romano, those guys, if they say something that there is actually stuff happening, then we'll pay attention. But this Luis Suarez have been talked about for a week or two now, so for sure it's got to be something. It's got to be something there. But again, what is it? What we want? Do we want a Luis Suarez type? Do we want a Dzeko type? I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna get none. We'll get none.
Can we just get fullbacks, please? Jesus. One fullback, that's all I'm asking for. One fullback, whether it's a left back or a right back, just one.
I mean, you talk about transfer names, right? And media just squirts out names and spits out rhymes like we're actually lyrical all the way about all these fantastic players. Zaniolo, it was all about Zaniolo a few months ago, about 2 months of Zaniolo this, and then Tonali, Tonali this, Tonali, and now he's off to Milan, blah, 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 and it's all done and done. Yeah?
Chiesa as well, yeah?
Yes, yeah, but Jesus, Chiesa won't come, guys. One, because he's 70 million price tag, that won't drop. And two,
forget about it.
And he's a winger. We've really got, how many wingers do we need? It's like our formation will be like 10 players on the side and Ronaldo on the left.
Well, I looked at, I see that latest news are that Federico Bernardeschi will be out. He will not be playing for our opening game against Sampdoria. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me one bit, to be quite honest.
Injury.
Oh,
we can't sell him then, damn.
But listen, Graham, we were never going to sell him.
Oh, yeah, I know, but we're not going to sell anyone.
Bernardeschi, I tell you, is one of the biggest, I think, in this last recent transfer history of Juventus, in my last, 5 years, 6, it's the biggest disappointment for me. Biggest disappointment. 40 million from Fiorentina. When he played for Fiorentina, my God, he was lethal. Absolutely lethal. From outside the box, creative play.
Smaller club.
I get it. But this is coming back. Okay. Let's take this argument. Atalanta. Everyone's banging on about Goosen this, Goosen that. We must buy him. Blah blah blah. You take Goosen out of Atalanta, he's not going to be as good as what he is now, because the format, the team that plays, is different. You can't, if you try and cherry pick the players. Graham and I said this, and actually, Graham, we talked about this before. I know it's about money and all this, but imagine if you had taken De Jong, De Ligt, Zetek, and De Bleek. Oh, what's he? De Bleek. All those players, right? Instead of Ronaldo, obviously. All those players. Imagine the chemistry. We already had a Dutch orange football pack, but Milan disguised as Juventus 1990. Boom. Dutch Revolution football. And Man United pick up the Bleek. I cannot understand for the life of me. I hope there's no Man United fan. There shouldn't be any man. Why the fuck are you going to Man United? What is it, Man United? What the hell is there?
Money.
They got play Chelsea. At least you've got London lifestyle. I think you've got Manchester. No offense to people living in Manchester, but London's a bit better than Manchester. No offense, but
Yeah, well, the guy clearly. The thing with Van der Beek is that he arrives now to a bigger stage, right? Premier League. It's like the holy grail for football. So that's it. Premier League will always be favored by players for some strange reason. And of course, Chelsea, they cannot buy any more midfielders. They have Havertz, they have loads of players in the midfield. So that leaves basically, Man City is also stacked. So yeah, Man United will probably accept this guy, and they are onto something, of course, with the Bruno Fernandes, and whatever, and Pogba as well. Yeah, it would be exciting to see those guys.
Oh yeah, with Lingard up front. Ooh, that's exciting. And then you got Jones at the back. Woo! And Maguire. Woo!
Yeah, that makes goals. That's good for goals as a neutral.
Yeah, but he's in prison anyway.
Not yet.
Bernardeschi is nauseating to watch. Can't make simple plays. If there are any Bernardeschi fans, really do apologize, but yes, we do agree. Is a very frustrating player to watch. And at the end of the day, the final third is so useless for this guy. Of course, he will always cut inside. He will always use his left foot. And he will always make us look bad. And we've touched on this very, very early on, that Dybala, Bernardeschi, Douglas Costa, they are all left-footed. And as soon as they start on the right wing, they will always cut inside. We will not have any width whatsoever. We will have people coming inside, and that's just not good for us.
I mean, the disappointing thing with Bernardeschi is, if you go back and watch his debut season, 17-18 season, he actually had a good season for us. I mean, he was scoring goals. He even scored from a free kick against Fiorentina, I believe. He had a good season, and then for whatever reason, he's just went downhill since then. I don't know what it is, but disappointing because the potential was there.
Yeah, that's the thing, guys. I mean, I know nauseating is quite harsh, but look, for me, it's just a huge disappointment. Huge. The talent was there. It's just he's technically gifted. It's just, I mean, let's summarize it, right? 1 goal in 29 games, whatever, and that sitter in Lyon.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christ's sake, a blind, deaf bat would have scored that goal. Do you know what I mean? It sums up everything. A man that lacks confidence. And I've always said this. Instead of selling him, we should loan him out to Milan. Seriously, loan him up to Milan and bring up his confidence back up again. Bring up a small team. Bring a small team back to the big time, and then bring him back. And then at least he's on form, you know.
Question from Miriam. Last year it looked like Juventus were playing for Ronaldo, not Ronaldo for Juve. What do you guys think? Don't get me started on Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, why not?
Why not? Go on. There's your fishing bait right there.
Okay. This season, he was, in my opinion, the MVP for us. He scored the most goals for us. He was the most influential player in terms of goal scoring. Of course, Dybala was also up there. He won the MVP, but in my opinion, Cristiano still needs to. I mean, he was the guy who almost took us to the quarterfinals in the Champions League. It was only our useless team and our useless manager who failed. But Cristiano was vital for us. However, when things don't work and when he is on his period, things are not looking good. Basically, he is wasteful. He wastes too many chances. And when we signed the guy, it was all about Cristiano, unfortunately. And many players, in my opinion, suffered from it. I can see that to be quite honest, I mean, our offensive lineup failed. We don't have any offensive structure because Cristiano has such a free role. He can do whatever he wants. Coming from the left, cutting inside. Now suddenly he's not coming from the left. He's running into the box, waiting for a cross. So what do? Of course, we're going to cross because Cristiano is there. And that's it. This is one player who does whatever he wants, and this is so difficult to maintain. This is so difficult to focus on, because then we know that, okay, Cristiano, where is he? We're always looking for Cristiano. At the end of the day, yes, he is the only guy who scored the goal for us. Dybala, unfortunately, more of second string to Cristiano at this club right now. As soon as Cristiano is gone, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the club. The wages will be gone. The offensive non-existing balance will be gone. We will have a clear left winger. We will not have a guy who always roams. We will not have a guy who constantly is the focal point. We will have different attackers. We will have different dangerous players. Right now, it's if you take out Cristiano, I mean, what do we have? Dybala is not strong enough against a pack of the bus who is parked, unfortunately. So there we go. We need something else. We need something more. And right now, it's only Cristiano. That's just my opinion.
In your humbleness point of view, of course.
No, I mean, he arrived for us. Of course, we talked about this many times before, and of course, if you have a chance to sign Cristiano, you sign Cristiano, of course. Oh, yeah. But what are the downside? The downsides are a lot of it. We can see, of course, at the end of the day, when he leaves, are we going to call this a success? Or are we going to call this move a failure? If we don't win the Champions League with him, more is more likely.
If we don't win Champions League, it's a failure.
It's a failure. Well, it is. We don't buy Cristiano Ronaldo to win a freaking Serie A and a Coppa Italia. I'm sorry, we don't. No. We bought Higuain to do that for us, and we barely did that. So we need more. And to buy Cristiano, of course, if you have an opportunity, you get Cristiano. But who's to say that if we're gonna get, let's say Kevin De Bruyne, for example. If we get him and not Cristiano, will this do things much better for us? Yes, probably, because midfield is a much more crucial engine. You know, no, I mean, I'm seriously. If the midfield doesn't work, you can forget about winning matches.
I disagree.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm not Ronaldo's biggest fan, but if you bring in De Bruyne instead of Ronaldo for 18-19, that Atletico Madrid comeback doesn't happen.
Yeah. And, you know what I mean? And another thing, guys, we had a fantastic midfielder back in the day. Pirlo, Pogba, Vidal, Maurizio. We did jack shit. You know what the problem was? We didn't have a proper strike up front. A proper strike up front. Like a number 9, a killer instinct guy, like a Trezeguet or a Dzeko. The irony is this. We have Ronaldo now, but Ronaldo's 5 years too late.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. The thing is that if we don't get Cristiano and we get Kevin De Bruyne instead, it would of course never be in a 30 million a season wage range. It would not be the huge increase in wages. I don't think it would be maybe 20 at the top. But then we can still afford a proper striker, proper attacking balance, a proper attacking structure. But right now, it's all Cristiano, and we have a crappy midfield.
Yeah.
Whoa. Right now, I wouldn't say crap. I mean, maybe last season, yeah. But this season, guys, Rabiot.
Yeah, I mean, last season, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but Rabiot, I like him. I'm liking to start to like a lot about Rabiot. You know, his goal against Milan was special, man. It was Messi on steroids there, right? And unfortunately, Arsenal whipped in 10 minutes. But the point being is, Rabiot covered ground, and he's looking like the business. You know, and I would be very upset if he benches Rabiot, because Rabiot is a player that's on. I know the season's finished. I watched him in France, didn't do too bad, but he is a player for us in the last quarter of the season. Was the only player that was munching the ground up, but covering the ground and tackling and doing this and doing. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
This Yusuf. Sorry, this comment before. I'm sick and tired of seeing this guy's name. For Christ's sake, man! Every time. Our. Oh, Jesus.
Au
Our. That's apparently how you pronounce it. Our.
Au revoir. That's what I'm trying to say. Au revoir. Bye.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
This is a legend. This is a great player, of course. Wonderful potential. Great talent. But Lyon knows this. and they will not sell him for cheap. Right now, they have no offers. They priced him too high. I saw that today that apparently 60 million is a bit too much. Nobody wants him for that much. But are they that desperate of selling? I don't know. Clearly, they can build on that. They can maybe try again next season because he will only improve in Lyon. No matter, in my opinion, if he goes to a bigger club, let's say Real Madrid, let's say he goes to Real, who's to say that he will start every single game there? Let's say he goes to Man City, who's to say that he will start every single game there? We will know for sure that he will start every game at Lyon, where he is at right now, because he is a star. Will he start? If he comes to Juve, I mean, how do you play? How do you play with these guys? Of course, we need to get rid of Khedira. We will need maybe we'll get rid of Aaron Ramsey. But then it's too late. I don't know.
No, I don't think we're getting Our, guys. Our is
it's too expensive.
Too expensive, but he's more Premiership bound, Arsenal type player, with Pepe and Lacazette there. So I can see him going to Arsenal, right? Or even Tottenham, because Tottenham. Yeah, well, yeah.
Here's what I can see happening, right? Here's some breaking news for you. We will sign Luis Suarez, right? We will have an undisclosed fee to get him from Barcelona because it won't be literally a free transfer, okay? We will give him 10 million per season for 2 or 3 seasons, and we will sign no other big names during this window because simply we won't be able to afford it. We couldn't afford it before because we had to always offload. So when we brought in De Ligt, the club was absolutely desperate to offload Paulo Dybala. When we brought in Cristiano Ronaldo, the club was so desperate to offload Higuain's wages that we loaned him out twice. And that was during normal circumstances, okay? So everybody knows the circumstances around the current year overall with, coronavirus, COVID. We're not gonna spend and splash all that amount of money on wages on Luis Suarez, and then bring in a guy like, sorry, I can't say his name, the Lyon player. We're not gonna bring in any expensive players on top of Luis Suarez. That's the way I see it.
Ivan, I like Ryan Cherki. To be honest, I have no idea who that is.
He's a 17-year-old Lyon striker. He looks good, but
17.
Guys, 17. There's another guy. If you want to start talking about youth players, I love this, right? Chat manager, 1999. This is all about me, right? Because it's like my analogy is with a punga knife going to the Brazilian forest and chopping and see Tevez running out the forest and Pablo Amar running out the forest and Saviola and all these star players running out. And I catch them and I put Juventus and we win everything with them in 5 years, right? But reality is, there's another player called Camavinga. He's from Angola. He will play for France. Now, I tweeted about it, and I'm not saying I discovered him. I haven't. Let's get that straight. But I watched the game about 4 months ago. Camavinga, guys, is the next superstar for the next generation of players. You will see him. There's other player. There's Matthias Ryan Cherki. He's good. He's good. He's fast. He looks like Eden Hazard almost. But I agree with Yusuf. He's big. But look, we could talk about all these potential big players, right? I mean, like Harry Redknapp would say, go into Champ Manager, and that's what he did, yeah. Go and Champ Manager and look at all these players coming through, But then you look at Brazil. The news coming out of those strikers. There's one player from Fluminense who's scoring goals like it's like for fun. Madrid. I don't know how Madrid and Barcelona do this. They just go to Brazil and they pick up all these players,
Scouting system.
Yeah, but like I said, there's some young potential players out there that, guys, we will see. I mean, watch this name, Camavinga. He is sensational.
Here is the thing. Juve is not the club for young players. We don't have the time. We don't have the time to develop a young player. Pogba being maybe the only exception, because we don't have the time to wait for the full potential to develop. We need to win now, today. So, I mean, this guy, Cherki, whatever his name is, he will not be influential for us next season if he arrives. I doubt it. If he's absolutely insanely good like Roberto Baggio, Alessandro Del Piero stars.
No.
Then forget about it. Forget about it. He will not play for us, and he will destroy his career. We'll probably, at the end of the day, we'll loan him to Everton or Bologna or Sassuolo. There, and there we go, and that's it. This will be a Giovinco story all over again. And that's the thing. We don't have time to wait for a player to develop. We need to win today. This is why we actually getting Luis freaking Suarez, because he's apparently a good player. He's a competitive guy, 33-year-old. I don't care about the future. We need to win today.
Yeah, but that's football in general, boys. I mean, Mourinho did that with Chelsea. He didn't have time for young boys. I mean,
we've become such a big club.
Yeah, but look how he left those clubs.
Yeah, in pieces. But I just don't want to talk about Chelsea. But Chelsea, remember, had Salah, De Bruyne, and Lukaku all on their books when they were young guns. That's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, true. I mean, we've become such a big club, such a huge club, that it basically hurts us in that department. We can't wait for younger generation. Yeah. How many Primavera players are brought up as soon as we see Zanimacchia, right? One good game for us last season. Poof, we sell him to we ship him off to Zaragoza on loan. However, on loan, yes, he's not staying at the club. He's getting his valuable experience somewhere else in Spain. So if he comes good for Zaragoza, I highly doubt we're going to use him again, because this will be a plusvalenza once again. This is also a thing, right? It's rather we gain some money out of those players.
The last player. Let's do this. This is Aubert's quiz 1.0. What was the last player? Let's see. People on the chat and on here. Who was the last player that came through the youth ranks and became
Maurizio?
Okay. Hence why he's the quiz master. Give me some credit there.
That's very easy. That's
okay,
very
but why? But why?
Because we were in Serie B,
and he had an opportunity to play.
Exactly.
But that's how Chiellini made his career. Chiellini didn't come through the youth ranks, but he was very sporadic for the 05-06 season. We go down to Serie B, and then suddenly he's getting more first team opportunities. And then we come back up to Serie A. We don't have the money to bring in like really, really good world class players. So
you're right. I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
He was close. Funny enough, he was close to be sold back to Fiorentina. Chiellini, very close.
But when he was a left back.
Yeah, Ivan's point. But we've signed a lot of young players, and that's true. And that's maybe the new philosophy of the club now. Look, you look at Kulusevski, Artur's relatively young. You got this Winston boy. You got Bentancur. De Ligt, Demirel.
De Ligt is also an exception, right? Because he's such a world-class player. Yeah. Clearly, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah,
Pizzolio, yeah.
Oh my God.
But I mean, Kulusevski. Those guys, Kulusevski, Arthur, De Ligt, no matter how old they are quality, and this is it. This is the rare talent we're talking about. This is very good quality players that are good when they're young. But those guys like Cherki, they are not good enough for this top level yet. So we need to develop them. So to develop a player, they need time. Rugani also, perfect example. Talented defender in his youth. Now he's freaking 26 or something. Hasn't developed one bit. Why? Because he's comfortable where he is. Because we haven't played him at all, basically. He should have stayed at Empoli. He should have moved maybe to Bologna or Fiorentina or whatever. Played every single game, and let's see what happens. But now he's just destroyed his career. But he's happy, and that's it. So there you go. This is another talent ruined. We have a bunch of examples like that. Giovinco as well. We tried him both there and there. He was good sometimes, but it's just not quality enough.
Nicoli.
Yeah.
Megan makes a good. This is an interesting concept, guys. Talking about youth players and old players, right? It's interesting about. Yeah, and that was the third player. I forgot about Damian. I mean, he's not old, but he's old anyway. But Damian, Kolarov, and Vidal. It's an interesting take, guys, from Inter, from Madrid doing that way. We're going the opposite way. We're going for these young guys.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. We'll go back to that.
Z, why? Okay, explain to me Please, for
Yeah,
the
you've said
love of
enough now.
all that is within this world of reason, why on God's earth is this guy still associated with us? Please, Z and everyone else, please educate me. I'm ignorant to this. Why is people upset about coming back?
That's because people are living in the past.
No, but Z knows his stuff. Z knows about it. I don't know if she's done this to wind me up, but she's a naughty girl and she's trying to wind me up. Yeah, because she knows. Listen, guys, I'm old school, and maybe I need to change my way of thinking. Right, the number 10 is a sacrilege jersey number for Juventus, and we did talk about this before. It's the Fantasista players never played, but why? Come back. Let's go. Why would we want a player who just kind of pissed all over that number 10 and pissed off? And I know people say they're taken out of context. And Juventus Belgium, he said, but that was taken out of context about he was on a holiday. Yeah, but I read the entire transcript interview, and it wasn't out of context, right? And I'm not being funny. We made him who he is, and he just threw it back at us, and now I'm back. I was in the UK, and Graham was in the UK, and we saw this bullshit storms he had with Adidas and saying, I'm back, I'm going to win the Ballon d'Or, I'm going to win Champions League, and this is it, blah, 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 fix it up, bling, 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 And then, shut your mouth, you piece of shit, because at the end of the day, we made you, and you threw it back at us. You can quite off. I'm sorry, Z. I don't mind Suarez, but pig shit, fuck that. Man.
I love it how you don't mind. I love it how you don't mind a guy that goes around biting people and is a racist compared to Pogba.
I want Ever back. Bring Patrice Ever back. I love this game.
Yeah, Pogba will not come. Relax.
No.
It's just for us to talk about something, and making this rumors. It's just a romanticism that he will become good for us if he comes back. He will solve all our problems. It will never happen. It will never happen. Forget about it. If you want to make a headline out of this, go ahead and do it. But it's just the Sun. Just create a headline out of absolutely nothing. So just stop.
Trash news. Trash news.
Trash news, exactly. Let's forget about Pogba. He don't really want to come back. Let's go for players like Our. Yeah. We don't have the money to go for these players as well. That's why we're reducing ourselves to Weston Mckennies.
I wouldn't say reduce. I think we.
Yeah, but that's true. Of course, if you go for Our, it's better than going for Weston Mckennie.
Yeah, but Weston Mckennie is costing us 2 million up front and 20 million later. We are risking, but I don't think it's a huge risk, right? Because
it's not.
But I think
the quality is a more uncertain quality as to Our. We don't know what we're expecting with this Mckennie guy.
Agree.
I mean, the problem we have right now is we can't afford to make big signings right now. The money's not there. The revenue's not there. We've got to be conservative about it, because there's no income coming from ticket sales and attendances and fans and all that. There's none of that for a few months. So we're basically, with the amount of wages that we've got already, we can't afford it pretty much. So if you're expecting really, really big signings outside of Suarez, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it next summer.
And remember, who is the agent of Paul Pogba? How much do you think he will have as a commission? At least 25%, and then he will go screw himself.
Yep.
Forget about it.
Can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
Mino Raiola.
He started off as being a pizzaiolo, huh? That's where he started, huh? Pizzaiolo.
Now look at him.
No, look at him. Yeah, go ahead. All right, guys. Just keep up these questions coming in. If you have any, if you don't have any, we just have to round up sooner or later. So let's just give it a 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes more, and we'll be done for this.
Let's do this, guys. About 19th of September, 20th of September. So it's about what, 13 days, 14 days from now, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
Predictions against Sampdoria.
Yeah, come on, let's do this. It's way too early to say. You know what? Actually, quite interesting. We haven't played any single friendly, like training game, well, except from the under-23s.
Because 2 weeks.
That will be fine. We'll stick with 4-3-3. Dybala will play out wide, Suarez will play in the middle, and we will win 2-0 thanks to Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry. What am I talking about? No clean sheets, not with this Juventus team. We will win 2-1.
What are you talking about, man? Don't you know? We're playing 3 at the back, Danilo playing centre-back, Ronaldo playing a wing-back. 5-0, Ronaldo!
I would love to see Cristiano Ronaldo track back as a left back.
I will not say anything. I fear for my friend Alexandro. I fear for him. If he will keep all himself to himself yet another season.
You know what? You know, Megan, his point about favorite formation, guys. I'd love to see this happen, right? The classic Milan of Pirlo Christmas tree. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the Christmas tree come back again. And to think Suarez up front and Ronaldo and you've got Ronaldo and Dybala there, and you've got them playing off there, and then you've got Arthur and Bentancur and Kulusevski will be to Di Brabio, you know?
Diamond in the middle.
Well,
It will be essentially 4-3-3.
Well, was it 4-3-3? Was it
not a diamond in the middle? Are we talking about when it was Pirlo, Gattuso, and Seedorf and Kaká?
Imagine.
And Shevchenko.
Yeah, that was a diamond. That was a 4-1-2-1.
Yeah, was it not? Did Milan not play with like Pirlo, 2 centre mids in front of him, and then Kaká as an attack mid? Was that not what the Christmas tree?
Lorenzo's got it. The 4-3-3-1. That's it. That's the formation.
There we go.
That's the formation.
But then with this formation, you have Suarez as a top striker, right? And then you have Cristiano and Dybala behind them.
Yeah.
Please ask Cristiano to be behind Luis Suarez when attacking. Forget about it. This will be another freaking 4-3-3 with him sitting on the left wing, cutting inside.
I don't know. Listen, guys. I like that because you have Bentancur, Arthur, and Rabiot. You know, I like
this is why you need to sell Cristiano. You need to get rid of Cristiano in order to facilitate this particular line.
Let me just call Ronaldo now. I've got him on the thing, you know, and just tell him, Venti Carayo, you fucking play behind Suarez. End of story. Or else we'll fight you. Ciao. Obrigado.
And put your mask on.
Yeah. And put your mask on. Don't drop your banana.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to touch on the previous question, I'm not suggesting Juventus could play this, but when we're talking about formations, my favourite formation has always been the 4-2-3-1. And I'm not suggesting that would work. I'm not suggesting even try and do that with the current team. But just from a football perspective, that's always been my favourite formation. Obviously, it spectacularly went wrong in a Champions League final, which we shall not We will not discuss that, but there was several games before that game where it was very effective.
Played Football Manager too often, Graham.
Not enough.
No.
You know what? You guys all laughing at me, blah blah, bears talking dog shit. You know, watch Sampdoria 4-3-2-1 Christmas tree. Boom! Light that one up with your candlesticks.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if Ronaldo would actually play as a striker rather than start out wide. He's not got the legs anymore. He's over mid-30s, isn't he? He's like 35.
Yeah, but there's a comment earlier on. You know, he did try to play striker. He just doesn't want to. I don't know why he doesn't want to play striker. I don't know why.
Just play as a poacher. I mean, he loves goals, so just stay in front of goal.
I'll tell you why. Because at Real Madrid, he did play as a striker. At the end of the day, he did play as a striker.
Yeah, of course he did.
But when he moved to Serie A, he started against Chievo away as a striker. And then he suddenly realized very quickly that Serie A is a different type of beast when it comes to defending. So there we go. So he tried to, go back to his natural himself and then playing as a left winger, cutting inside. So he doesn't want to play as a prima punta because he isn't good enough as a centre forward, in my opinion. And I think actually he thinks so himself. He doesn't like being bullied by the defenders. He doesn't like to get physical. That's just my opinion.
No, we'll see. I mean, Ivan done a 2-0 Juve. Ivan, my friend, I tell you something. Al kept bloody doing predictions of 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. I said, when are you going to learn? When are you going to learn? We concede too many. De Ligt's out. Turk Merchant Bonucci's probably in. and you're going to have Demiral next to him, or Chiellini possibly, because obviously Chiellini got forgotten off the team sheet because Mancini hadn't had his glasses on. I love that. I fucking love that. I think it's going to be 2-1 Juve, and I don't want to sound negative, but I want to be a realist. I think we're going to be thinking, oh, okay, we've got work to do.
Yeah. I think so too, yeah.
Listen, I'm all for the hype, boys. I'm Mr. Pirlo coming out with his long black trench coat, like smooth, suave, hands in his pocket, glasses, like in, bombs and music and fireworks work in the background, his hair flipping, whips out his glass of red wine and goes, ragazzi, do it for the vino, and then, boom, boom. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, it'll take time.
I'll never concede by Quagliarella's super strike after 5 minutes.
Lorenzo.
What I'm looking forward to the most is seeing Pirlo at some point during the season absolutely lose the shit on the touchline, because it will happen. It has to happen. Every manager at some point for Juventus loses his mind on the touchlines.
Yeah, I've never ever seen Pirlo get mad.
It will happen. He will grab that jacket and throw it off Allegri style.
Every time you say that, I say this every time. I was there at Modena against Carpi, and wow, was that a reception? Lorenzo, can we ban Lorenzo actually for this Khedira love? I'm joking. Jeez. Can you imagine if Khedira started? It's like all hands in the face, like, oh my god.
We bring in Mckennie and we bring in Arthur, and then we just start Khedira. New manager, new era.
And Arthur.
You know what I think? We didn't talk about this, but you know who I think from the old season, last season, will be a new revelation for us? Injury-free, honestly, and I know Roman's going to hate this, is Ramsey under Pirlo.
I'm not negative to Ramsey, by all means, but if we are going to facilitate guys like Our, we're too crowded in the midfield.
No, I know, but I generally think I think with Ramsey, I think Pirlo will rejuvenate Ramsey. I have a feeling about Ramsey. Rambo will do something well for him, I think.
Yeah, but then again, there's injuries. We can never trust these guys. That's the thing.
You gotta highlight that. You gotta highlight that Pirlo one.
That reminds me, you know what, guys? That reminds me of that guy Davids when he used to play for the Bees, Barnet, right? I used to go watch him on Saturday, right? And he was a player manager, and when things were going wrong, he said, I could tell him, he said, I'm going to sub myself on, and that's what he did. He subbed himself on, and he was still hog shy anyway.
Maybe Pirlo should do that. Maybe that's why we're not signing any more midfielders. We're focused on the striker position because we've got Pirlo.
Khedira must be kicked out. We can't stand him anymore. But why? I mean, this is not up to Khedira. This is not Khedira's fault that this has happened. That's because we've signed this guy on for too long. He has a contract which expires next season. So basically, if it's anybody we should hate, that's ourselves, because we made this. We allowed this to happen.
I'll make a prediction for you guys. Khedira will leave Juventus in January, Mandzukic style.
We'll
terminate the contract and we'll just let him go to America.
The thing is, though, it's interesting, this comment here about Khedira, right? And I know what you're saying, Roman. And you're right, the board re-signing and giving these guys extensions. But Matuidi, did he not sign an extension at the beginning of last season? And now he's gone into Miami. So I don't, if Juve, if it's true what they're saying, Juve is saying, listen, can we send the contract and shake hands and see you later, ciao, ciao, or guten Tag? Then if he's saying no, I want to pick up my paycheck like Gareth Bale, then okay.
Matuidi is a special case because Matuidi himself told that he wanted to leave Italy because of his family didn't fancy living in Italy anymore, so that's why he moved to USA. I don't know if it was due to COVID or due to the racism accusations. Well, basically people were racist towards him. Or sure, we remember the stuff with Cagliari when he went to Cagliari and he was absolutely roasted. Same happened to Moise Kean. Maybe this is just kind of the whole thing is about this racist nonsense that he decided to leave, Matuidi decided to leave, because this is just enough is enough. And in US they are, well, I won't say that racism doesn't exist in US, on the contrary, but apparently it's much much more tolerant there than it is in Italy, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Look, politics and religion, for me, has no place on the football pitch. In fact, on any sporting ground. I want to watch guys, athletes doing the best they can and enjoying a good sportsman. It takes me away from my everyday problems of life and watching overpaid guys kicking a leather ball filled with air, albeit. But politics and religion should not be in the fray of football. I'm sorry, it shouldn't be. And that includes racism. There shouldn't be no racism. Shouldn't be any prejudice against gays or anything like that. It should be clean. It should be about the sport. It should be about the achievement of sport, and that's all I say. And that's what brings everyone together, right? It's about coming into a stadium, black, white, pink, purple, yellow, brown, whatever you are, supporting the same team, right? And that's all it is, right? And then when you talk about what happened, I really was, I was disappointed to see that, right? To see that bullshit at Verona and Cagliari, especially in Cagliari, it's disappointing. It's disappointing.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we do have this in our own home as well. We've heard this monkey chants at the J Stadium as well. So there are some idiots that are just appearing out of thin air at the J Stadium and aren't there as fans. They basically are there to hate. And this should stop. Mirgan, thank you so much for this comment. Great live, guys. Keep doing this more often. Yes, we will do that. I will speak about this just before we end this session. I'm gonna say 4 minutes left, and then we're gonna close this down. 2 hours. This is a monumental session from us.
Half an hour.
One last topic, guys, before we close this one. So anyone who wants to drop a question, just go ahead and do that, and we will discuss this.
Who do you guys think is our next rival for next season for Serie A? Obviously, not Champions League.
Merda.
I'd have to say, but Merda, yeah.
They're getting a squad for right now, like experienced players and all that.
However, if this thing goes pear-shaped, it will go very pear-shaped with Conte coming in. If they don't start producing ASAP, there will be trouble. So it might be actually not only Merda. It could be Atalanta. It could be Lazio. It could be.
Well,
I don't know.
Today's latest rumors about Papa Gomez getting taunted out to the Middle East and they're listening to offers. They said officially they're open to offers, and I think Papa Gomez was the most underrated player I think in the last few years. Right, he's a fantastic player.
They rejected this so far.
I honestly think, guys, Milan.
Yeah,
I think Milan. Listen, Hernandez on the fullback. Donnarumma at the back, right? Donnarumma was the best keeper last season, boys. Best keeper on stats-wise, right? I know people hate numbers, but he was as a goalkeeper. And then you've got Tonali, right? And then you've got I don't hate the guy. I dislike the guy. He's a comical monkey. Is Zlatan, right? But Zlatan, he has that Zlatan effect. It works. It works.
He does have that aura around him.
It does. That's arrogance.
But I don't see Lazio as a threat next season because they've got Champions League football. They can't just throw the towel in like they've done with the Europa League last season.
Napoli, the guys are mentioning Napoli being Boga coming in from Sassuolo.
Could be, but it's too. That's not just Boga is not enough. They need much more than just Boga. And going forward, yes, Boga is a great choice. I love him personally, but.
Aren't Napoli supposed to be selling Koulibaly?
Yeah,
that's a rumor that's not going away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guys, they had that striker. This guy has come in. He scored 2 hat. I know it's friendlies, but he's really on fire. The boy, the striker.
Yeah. We know.
So, but if Koulibaly goes, then
they're still far away from winning the Scudetto, in my opinion. And with Milan. It's always like this with these guys. Also, imagine Stefano Pioli winning a Scudetto. I just don't see it.
No,
I just don't see it.
But I genuinely think, guys, with Hernandez in the back on the right, Donnarumma, there's this spine they're coming through, even though it's not direct spine. Tonali coming in, guys. It's
Is Tonali that good though? I'm not sure.
We'll find out.
I'm not sure. I'm not impressed whatsoever. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's Italian. But what is there more to say? I mean, we need more. We need more than that right now. Chiesa is also young and Italian.
And Zaniolo.
And Zaniolo. I mean, Zaniolo, yeah. Zaniolo is quality, but yeah, it's just not enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't get upset. But I think that must be Zlatan complaining. Listen, guys. Look, right at the beginning of this live that we had, it's been great. We talked about players that juries are out. Yeah. I think it will be interesting to see. Traditionally, Juve slow off the blocks, aren't they? In the beginning of the season, they're not like smashing it 4-0, 2-0, 3-0. It's always a bit. And now we've got Pirlo, and we've got all these new players, new squad. And I really listen, everyone that's on the chat. I really hope not to hear this from Pirlo after the match. It's a new team. We need time.
Okay. That's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen.
Well,
that's the most diplomatic answer you will hear.
Well, because Nedved said last season, Sarri didn't join because he had time. He has to deliver, and he did. In a way, did deliver a trophy, right? But
yeah. All right, guys. Let's finish this one up. Thank you so very much for joining us in the comment section, in the live chat, and of course, well, if you just watched and didn't even bother commenting, but you just followed us for the 2 hours, really appreciate it. I still see that we have something to discuss, but we will do it next time. So, of course, you know the fixture list, and you know what's going to happen. So, first off, it's Sampdoria at home, 20th of September. Most certainly, we will do La Panchina watch party. We just have to do that because it's the first game of the season for Andrea Pirlo. We need to kick it off with a style. If you don't know what a watch party is, please check out this very channel. You'll see the half-hour videos of us watching the game, reacting to the game. You can see Graham ranting. You can see Alberto destroying everything with his tactical knowledge and suggestions of how things should be done. And and you can see both me and Aubert enjoying ourselves doing this stuff. And of course, if you want in on this watch party, if you want to join us, just hit us up on Twitter and we'll see what we can do. Of course, it's always fun to watch the Juve games alongside other Juventini, especially during this time with the COVID, with for us, no options to travel, at least not yet. We'll see what happens this season. But we're stuck where we are right now, so we'd love to connect and we'd love to watch the games with you all. So, Ivan, thank you so much. Lorenzo, thank you. And Mirgan, thank you. First time, I think Mirgan just joined me for my Juventus quiz yesterday live, and he's also joined today. So thank you, Mirgan, for joining. Keep up with us. And Yusuf, of course, and RB Combs was there. Z was also there, even though we hate her right now. No, we're just joking. It's all love. It's all love. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day or good night or wherever you are in this world. And we'll see you later for the next. We're going to do this one once again, guys. Huh? We're going to do this Q&A for sure. So maybe we'll do one just before the start of the season.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Speak to my agent, Mina Ronaldo. Speak to him tomorrow.
Yeah, he's too expensive to talk to, so we'll just talk to you directly.
Ton of fun as always, guys, and thanks for the questions.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Ciao.